Hi, this is Justin in partnership with Rolling Out Health IQ, where we discuss some of the major topics affecting people of color and their health. I am here today joined by Oliver George. Oliver, it's so great to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me today, Justin.
Can you just give the our community just a little bit of background on your personal fitness journey and kind of some of the accolades? I know you're a real humble guy, but just some of the accolades that you've accomplished to date.
Sure. Um, I started out working out back in the early 80s because I got accepted at the United States Military Academy, and I was maybe a buck 35. So I started by doing push-ups and that sort of thing to prepare for West Point. Once I got to the academy, I joined the West Point powerlifting team, and that's where I got my powerlifting base. And while I was there, I was a three-time champion there for my class. My weight went up to 165 from all the lifting and eating. And so three-time champ there, New York State champ, and an East Coast champ at one time. I left there, had that military life going on, and I knew in the early 90s I wanted to be a bodybuilder too. And so that's when I got into the bodybuilding lifestyle. So I was an amateur bodybuilder during the heyday, the early 90s to the late 90s, and where the competition was really tough, living in Florida, all natural athlete. The best I did was I won a state show, won a regional show, and then top 10 at the NPC Team Universe. Barely top 10. I came in 10th, but hey, it's top 10, And then life came, took over, careers and that sort of thing. And most recently, 2 years ago, I came back to powerlifting. I never stopped lifting, but now as an older masters athlete, I compete in two specific events. One is called the strength curl, and that's a very strict curl against the wall, certain parameters. So there's no momentum getting the weight up. It's a very strict lift. And also the deadlift, which was my favorite lift when I powerlifted. And so far, I live with an organization, 365 Strong, powerlifting out of North Carolina. They have organizations in various states and overseas, and three-time world champ in the strict curl with them. I think twice in the deadlift, and then XPC, Extreme Powerlifting Coalition. I've done well at their world championship last year at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. And well, that's one of the world championships there in the deadlift. And next Friday, I'll be back at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic in Columbus, Ohio, lifting again with XPC and on the Big Rogue stage on Friday. So second time at the Arnold, first time on like the big stage for the lifting event. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, just the history, casual like world champ this, world champ that. That's amazing. That's amazing. And you talked about, when you got into the Marine Academy, I don't want to get this
Military
right.
Academy,
The
West Point.
military academy, right? Military academy. But was there anything else that inspired you to get into bodybuilding and powerlifting? Especially like as your journey evolved over time. Is there anything that just kept you in the sport?
Even before West Point, let me even go back further. Um, there's a picture of me in New York at my aunt's house. Her name is Texas Davis, and she lived in White Plains. There's a picture of me at 8, and I'm on her steps, and I'm doing one of these. So, skinny me with just the bone and a little piece of meat hanging on top is making a muscle on her steps to her place. And early on, my mom used to read to me about Samson. I loved Hercules. I love all those stories. I had a cousin, Bill Noble, who played football for the United States Military Academy, who was into fitness. I had another cousin on my uncle, on my mom's side, who's in the military, and he had one of those, bills too. And then as I, got older, I read about Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lee Haney, all that type stuff, and I knew that eventually that was where I wanted to be, that type of lifestyle. And then all the academy did was give me kind of like a plan to push me that way. Because some of the older seasoned guys in the gym, when I was a buck nothing, they said, you know, if you follow your strength, get stronger first, and then the muscle will come. And even though I was so skinny, my strength, my body loves working out. So I'm usually, I know this is gonna sound odd now because people see me now and they go, oh, big guy and all that kind of stuff, but I'm usually stronger than I look. Isn't that weird? So even when I was just a whatever, my strength, my body loves what the weight room does. And my body loves when I have a certain diet and I'm eating right and trying to stay healthy. So, you know, I think my parents were some good genetics there, but yeah, that's how the journey kind of started developing, and it's been a snowball building throughout my life to just keep it up.
Amazing. And so now speak about challenges or any barriers that you may have faced as a professionally in the fitness industry. What were some of the challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them?
It's hard to compete and maintain that lifestyle and have a normal life too. I mean, a regular 9 to 5, but you have to you have to set goals and follow your heart's desire. But early in my career, after the Army, I was in sales. You know what sales is like, calling on customers, all the extra things you do after hours to make sure you meet your sales goals. But at that time was when I was doing really well in bodybuilding. So it's commitment in any area of life. You have to set your goals, and you have to have a commitment, because life, just living life in general, all your emergencies, your regular work, family issues, all that stuff is going to come up and interfere, and you have to be able to say, no, I have to take some me time. This is my outlet, and this is how I stay healthy and functioning in order to keep everything going. So just life in general, I say it's, some people are fortunate enough to turn pro in various sports early on, and then they get paid just to pursue, what they love to do, and they have the means in order to cope with all those other facets of life and make it easy and hire people and all that kind of stuff. But when you're an amateur, all those costs are on your own. Supplementation, eating the right foods, taking the right vitamins, getting massage therapy, getting a chiropractor, getting all that extra stuff that comes out of your pocket. It's funny, I don't want to digress. Maybe we'll have a second conversation, but we can talk about how when you're at the amateur level, you got to foot the bill yourself until you get, some viable sponsors, hopefully.
Right.
But once you turn pro, or once you get close to turning pro, that's when people start giving you stuff and offering you stuff. And I'm like, man, you should have been there when I was struggling, So that just the normal struggles of life.
And so when you think of that struggle though, or like, what are just three ways? 'Cause I know there are a lot of people in here who love lifting weights, love bodybuilding, love powerlifting.
Sure.
What are three ways that you balance strength training and then at the same time, maybe for aesthetics, and then like separately, how do you balance performance powerlifting? Like it seems like there are different levers to pull, different things you have to do.
Sure. So I call myself a power bodybuilder. Okay. And with that, I combine, I have a hybrid workout. So I will do certain power lifts, certain compound movements, help build you strength, like the squat or the deadlift or bench press for some people, or you can get on the leg sled. Anything that's working various muscle groups and are working your connective muscle tissue. Those are compound movements, and they build you strength. For the bodybuilding, you want to do isolation movements. Like when you see people just doing bicep curls or just working on the triceps, they're isolating those muscle groups, and that helps you get your show muscles or your legs. When you're working just your quads, doing leg extensions, or just your hamstrings, doing hamstring curls, those are like your your extra exercises to help shape. Now you can also modify those in order to build, big muscles too. Because what I do, I love heavy weight. As I've gotten older, some exercises I can't, lift as much. But when I'm, working my quads, I still do a pyramid if I'm doing leg extensions, and I steadily increase the weight on the quads. And I have something called the you have to do a mind muscle connection where you focus your mind and feeling the muscles work. So when I'm doing extensions, I'm going up in weight, and I'm feeling how those muscles are working deep in my inner thighs. And when it's starting to hurt and when I'm starting to tire out, I love it. It's a good thing. It's a good. I know I'm making changes to my body. I'm doing some sculpting here, and that's what that's what you want. For me, I have a hybrid, and you don't have to lift the heaviest weight in the world. If that's not your goal. You gotta have goals. So everybody don't want to be a powerlifter. Everybody don't want to be a bodybuilder. If you just want to look good on the beach, well, hey, that's your goal. I'm gonna look good on the beach. I'm gonna make sure I have ripped abs. My diet's gonna be right, and I'm gonna have a certain type of shape, and I'm gonna do the exercises to get that shape. That's a great goal.
That's amazing. That burn, that feel, and then of course the magic of
Yeah.
transformation, right? I mean, being able to literally see your body change
Mhm.
on the outside. I want to take a step back and let's go on the
Okay.
inside, right?
Okay.
What do you think? How do you think your training has affected your health? And how have you become from an amateur to a professional? How have you seen training change your life for the better?
Okay. Well, I'm not pro yet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, still an amateur. But trust me, there's a plan to get there.
Right,
Yeah. So there's definitely a plan. Probably in the power sports first,
right.
pro card there first, and then transition back to bodybuilding and come in on the master side and get my master's pro card in
Cool.
bodybuilding too. But to go back to your question, you repeat it one more time for me. I got
Yeah, no, just talking about the health benefits, right? Like being
okay.
able to, understand from where you are, but and then obviously like I'll put it this way. You've seen a lot of your peers,
Yeah,
may have gone through some health issues or, you may have there are certain things I think that when you do training, you
yeah,
kind of rule out because there are a lot of things that affect African Americans, particularly obesity, high blood pressure,
sure.
diabetes,
Yeah,
kidney disease, all different types of things
yeah.
that training mitigates. Is this the case for you? And how has training changed your life from a health perspective?
Okay. So, once you start getting into lifting, you'll realize that the gym is just one component of sculpting your body. I've always been an artist too. So when I looked at bodybuilding and powerlifting, I had to figure out how to use those as tools to sculpt my body, just like an artist, tries to do a sculpture. And what you'll find out, the sweat equity you put in the gym will build the muscle. But there are other components. You need to sleep because that's when your body grows, when you're sleeping and recovering. And you have to eat a certain way in order to strip off of the body fat to show the muscle that you've been working so hard on. And then there's a fourth component, the cardio component, which has great health benefits internally for your total body. So I always tell people you got to be doing some type of cardio, whether it's walking, jogging, running, swimming, just something to get your heart going. And that helps us as a people, with some of the conditions we have with cardiovascular issues. So the cardio portion plus the eating right, you got to cut out some of these fats. I grew up in the South. Some of the best cooking in the world comes out of the South, but you have to modify your diet. Like even now, somebody that grew up on bacon every other day and all that type of stuff. When I had that high metabolism, bacon, sausage, what else? Any type of high fat breakfast food you can stuff in there and some fried chicken and everything else. as an adult and at this stage in life and in my career, over time, I may have bacon maybe once a month, maybe twice a month. I have to get a taste for it. And that's because I've changed the types of food that are more pleasing to me. And I eat more for the health benefits to my body. Because the plan here is longevity. You want to live a long, healthy lifestyle and have a physical presence to endure the test of time. So I claim 120. I claim 120. That's what I'm claiming. And I'm not at the halfway point yet. But by the time I hit 120, I still should be able to move on the track a little bit. I may be the oldest person out there running, but I should still be able to, take a couple of steps there. So those are some of the things that we have to think about as a race: is eating healthier, drinking more water. Water is the best tasting drink for me. That's how my taste buds have changed over time. Leave the sodas alone, the sweet tea. I mean, that's I have sweet tea maybe when I visit Georgia in the summertime. That's when I have sweet tea. That's about it. Leave all the sugary snacks, all the extra fat foods. That has to go. And what you'll find is, they're great tasting alternatives. And you learn how to cook in a manner that's healthier too. When I cook here, I eat fish every week. I eat fish every week, lamb every week. On the weekends is usually when I have my beef, maybe some pork. What else? Tons of vegetables. I still eat a lot of vegetables. I eat my fruits. I eat from all the major food groups. And, if I want to reduce the amount of body fat, then that's when I will tighten up the diet more and say, okay, I'm going to have more of a carnivore diet with lean meats and, eat green roughage to, keep my body healthy, low on the carbs, but carbs are good, just in moderation. So you have to figure out how you want to sculpt your body, and then do research. You have to read, just like your background there with all your nice book display. We as a people, if it's something that interests you, then you need to do the research yourself. Don't listen to every guru on the street, every person that's coming out with the latest fad, the latest diet. I've had people that did the cabbage diet, did the lemon diet, there was so many different diets, and you go on them and you lose weight after struggling for a month. Then as soon as you go back to your normal eating habits or whatever, then you put the weight back on. No, there's a way you can eat consistently and still enjoy the foods that you like. If you eat healthy most of the time, when I go out and I splurge and have something extra sweet or whatever, it's going to have little impact on my routine. And your taste buds are going to change anyway. So if I get a craving for cake or something, I take 2 bites, I'm good. Somebody else can finish that for me. It's like that when I want cookies or something. When I want that craving, I take a couple of bites out of cookie and I'm like, okay, I just wasted X amount of money buying this big thing of cookies that I got to give away or stick in the trash. So,
No,
that's me. That happens over time, though.
I understand that. I think that's great advice. I think also I'm going to ask you another question. As a Black man in America, how has bodybuilding helped with your mental health? Being able to navigate the complexities of life in a sanctuary, as some would like to say,
You're right.
as a gym.
It makes you stand a little taller. I notice when I talk to certain people, they tell me I have a powerful presence when I walk into a room or in certain arenas, and that helps in business. That helps in the social settings. That just helps in general, because you build more confidence in yourself. I wasn't always as confident as I am today, and a leader. I still serve in the military. So I'm still a reservist. I was an Army officer. I'm still an Air Force officer, but I didn't necessarily have the presence that I have when I started out. And I have to say that, having a fit body to some degree has helped me with that, because my normal modus operandi is just to be well, at least to be a quiet, shy guy, bookworm type, academic type, that love to run track. But as see what your body can do, and you start exceeding goals and hitting every one, there's a certain level of confidence that starts to develop, because your outside apparatus, what we're carrying, all this stuff, it's just a reflection of what's dwelling on the inside. So it's that inner strength too that builds with what you do in the weight room, on the track, in the pool, whatever your sport is or activity. What's that new thing? Whatever ball. It's not tennis. It's not racquetball.
Pickleball.
Yes. I know people that love that game, and the performance they have out there in the court when they're out there smashing it back and forth and playing that game. When they finish through a couple of hours, you should see their confidence level. If they won or whatever, and then they go have that beer or whatever they're gonna do, their salad. But whatever you're doing, you just have to take action. Anything you do to take action that's physical is gonna help with your presence and how you feel about yourself. And we were made to be physical beings. That's who we're supposed to. We're supposed to be doing something physical. Yeah. And I'm gonna double back a little bit and address our people. That's one of the misconceptions we have with aging. Coming from a Southern background, sometimes people have a certain idea of how aging is supposed to go for you, especially if you're on a Southern diet or have a certain lifestyle. And so they just assume, by the time I hit 60 something or 40 something, 50 something, I'm going to have this gut. And, that's just the way it is. I'm just going to have a gut. I'm going to be a little slower. I'm not going to be as athletic as I was. And part of that is true. You slow down as you age. Every 10 years, your body's telling you what's changed with the injuries and recovery and all that kind of stuff. But you don't have to have a sedentary lifestyle. You should be active your entire life if possible, unless there are injuries or things you inherit due to DNA and, things that are out of your control. But yeah, as a people, we don't have to settle for putting on those extra pounds to saying, well, when I hit a certain age, I'm gonna, get diabetes because I'm Black or whatever. Not necessarily. If you're living a healthy lifestyle and doing the right things that you should be, on your part, you can negate a lot of that, just lifestyle changes, Yeah.
Oliver, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate the insights that you've given the community. This is Justin with Rolling Out Health IQ, and we'll definitely be back with more information from you.
I hope so, Justin. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome.